Hey everyone, maisth here. Welcome back to another devlog of Empress Coliseum. This time, devlog number 2. This may not be a lengthy video as the last one, but it will still be a good showcase of the new things we have developed during these 2 months since the first devlog. So let's not delay this any further and get started. On the last devlog I explained what this game was about, how the progress was going in the months that it was being developed, and also show some of the challenges or interesting details the game had. Now that 2 months have passed, we have some fun things to showcase, progress on animation, combat upgrades, and other things. First, let's start with one aspect of the game that was begging to be better, and that's the player hands. Originally I showed them as this. Bruh. This looks like crap. The animations are too simple, it's untextured, and at times it takes too much of the screen. But now they are looking like this. Now that's much better, isn't it? We have clear textures that look amazing, as well as a very useful shader to add to the effect. And of course, animations to complement the actions the player is doing. We're still experimenting on some ends, but so far this is a really nice upgrade to those clay looking hands we had before. And this is only the animations for the fist weapon, the starting weapon the player has. But if he manages to obtain another one, then he'll use entirely new animations, like this sword. If we pick it up, we obtain it, with brand new animations, ways of fighting, and stats. Ken did a phenomenal job with the animations of the game. At this time, we finally have something the player can use as a weapon. It took a while to get there, but we're finally here. Since we're in the topic of the player, another area that was seriously lacking was the player HUD. This is how it looked in its humble beginnings. Now it's looking like this. Much better, isn't it? Now, this is still in development, and there's some parts that are going to be changed to something better, like the health and shield areas. At the moment they do look a bit lacking in contrast to the other part, but soon enough it will look very nice. But enough about the player. What about the place the player will be fighting in? The arena. While looking great in its final form, it was looking a bit empty, but now the first design that can appear when playing is finally here. Now a thing that's left to be seen is how fun this will be to play in. This is one aspect where testing will be key to realize if it's a fun map or a mediocre one. But I've tried to take into consideration different mechanics of the game, so hopefully it will be good enough for the player. All the props were done by Joshua, and to say that he did an incredible job would be an understatement. So we're really happy, and this will allow us to make some cool combination and make sure each design feels different. When the game comes out, there will be different designs that the player can encounter in the first zone. Last time I showed the hub, at that time we had a very simple type of lighting, this orange one. And while it was a nice start, it could have been better. Now the hub is looking like this, with this purple type hue and tint to it. This has a lower reason behind it, and it's to represent the cursed room. I talked briefly about the cursed and how the protagonist was part of this group, but I didn't really dwell too much on it. Basically, this game will feature a very noticeable division between two groups, the cursed and the common. The cursed are those that have a sickness that's plaguing the world, and that's the reason why they are hated and used as entertainment in the Moon Coliseum by the common. More info on this and the lore will come hopefully soon, when we have a bit more to showcase. It's also important for me to highlight the props that are being used in this hub area, specific ones like these cages, hanging poles, between others. This part of the game is still being designed, so you may see some additional props or changes to it. Or what about the Empress watching place? This one will also have cool props and little details you'll be able to notice when you play the game. Making sure that each level feels unique and distinctive is important. This way the player can realize if it's an important part or not. Moving on to the enemies. The enemies I showed last time were looking like this. And while that is still the case for a few of them, some of them have been changed. Like for example, the Dog Beast. This is a fast type enemy that will rush the player and try to attack him unrelentlessly. It will not stop at anything, so you should try to kill him as soon as possible. As you can see, it has a custom model, textures, and of course animations. This was a collaborative process between Daniel, Saurabh, Ken, and me, but I'm mostly handling the programming since this enemy is a very simple one in regards to AI. There's not much to do, obviously some balancing here and there, but that will come naturally with testing. But we should talk about a more complex enemy, and that's the Brute. This big boy is gonna be a serious problem if you forget about him. He may be slow, and you may be able to dodge his attacks from time to time, but beware that if you're too far, you're in danger of getting rushed by him. This will be an enemy that's harder to kill and has a more complex AI. Another feature that's still in development is him roaring loudly to push the player from a high place, since this guy is not going to be doing any climbing anytime soon. And here's another one that's currently being developed, this insect looking monster. He's another special enemy similar to the Brute that's gonna give the player a hard time. For now, it's only the model, texture, and we do have a quick test walk animation done for him. This will be a creepy enemy to fight since it's gonna move and fight in a different way from the regular fighters. It's also important for me to show you some of the mechanics on how the enemies will work. An example of one mechanic is the enemy coordination script. In summary, this mechanic will make sure that if the player has more than one enemy fighting him, they will take turns in trying to hit him. It's a system similar to that of Shadow of Mordor or the Batman Arkham series. It may not be realistic, but it's sure a bit more fair and fun to fight against more than one enemy. Another one that's also being designed but I can't show just yet is the enemy infighting script. Basically, this will make sure that the other enemies can fight each other, so it won't feel like all the enemies that spawn in the arena form an alliance before the game even started and are ganging up on the player all at once. Hopefully in the next devlog we'll be able to show this cool feature. So that's all for the devlog. As you can see, in this short 2 months we progressed quite a bit, considering that a lot of us has other things to do in our life. This is a part-time type project for the most part, but that doesn't mean we'll slack off. Before ending the video, I do want to talk about upcoming things that will be hopefully seen in the next devlog. One of them is perhaps a favorite of mine, and that is voice acting. Yes, this game will have voice acting. This is not usually a thing that's seen too much on indie games, but for this story, I knew that if I wanted it to be told in a convincing and entertaining way, we'd need voice actors. Hopefully I'll be talking more about it soon because the process on it is already underway. Now this devlog may not have been as lengthy as the first one, but I hope it was still fun and interesting to see the progress we've made so far. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Blue Sky, and other pages to stay up to date on the progress of the game. It will help us a lot. Links are in the description. If you enjoyed this second devlog and want to see more, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment about what you think so far. Also, if you have any suggestions or ideas, we love to hear them, so reach out through our social media or by commenting here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.